Nice deep full breath all the way into the belly. Nice full exhale. Nice deep full breath in. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Just closing the eyes and inviting the breath to be long and deep and full, and just having a few breaths, a few moments of meditation. Inviting the belly to soften, allowing the air to move deep into the diaphragm so the belly can move out as you breathe in. And the belly can fall and pull in as you breathe out. All right. Lovely. We call that tuning in. Also, could refer to it as opening up sacred space. I think it's nice if we drop Kundalini Yoga. Yoga is a spiritual practice. And I think that's important for me. It's important for me that this isn't just a workout, right? That this is, I'm working with a practice because I want to have balance within my physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual bodies. That I want to have regulation in my nervous system, that I want to have the hemispheres in my brain in alignment, that I want balance, that I want to feel grounded, that I want to feel connected, and I think it's important to have the intention that we carry into what we do is really important. It will have an effect on how the practice affects your body and your physiology. The placebo effect is incredibly powerful. The placebo effect is the power of belief. And the placebo effect is so incredibly powerful, the power of belief is so incredibly powerful that we compare the efficacy of all pharmaceutical drugs against it. We use it in almost every pharmaceutical research experiment. That's how powerful the power of belief that you're going to get better is, or the belief that something will have a certain effect on you. And so the intention that we go into a practice with is important. It has an effect on how we feel. It has an effect on the effect of the practice. And so when we do our little mantras and stuff, it's just kind of this way of opening up that energy, opening up a certain container with a certain intention that we're going to move in a certain way towards. We could say we're going to move from dis-ease to ease. I love that, right? We're going to move from dis-ease to ease, And this practice has been super helpful for me with that. It's the Lunar New Year. Happy Lunar New Year. They celebrate this for 2 weeks. I didn't know that. I just learned that recently. But in China, it's like a 2-week-long celebration. From the new moon to the full moon is all Lunar New Year. They got us beat. I mean, we do one. Americans are just so we just go way too hard. We just get people. They just go way hard one night. Everyone's so burned out they have to go back to work the next day. And they're just like, we're going 2 weeks. So we have our solar New Year, obviously, that we celebrate on the Western calendar. January 1st, and then the Lunar New Year is the first new moon after the solar New Year. And it's a time for new beginnings, right? It's not the best time for new beginnings. It's actually, I was listening to David White talk about resolutions, and he's such a master of language. He's a master of words, and he's a resolution. Right? A resolution is a resolution. It's a solution to something. And a lot of the times a resolution, to do again, a solution again to something. And what he said, and I love this, and I think this is really the essence of the winter energy especially, the New Year's energy, because it's not a good time to start something new. That's spring. Right? Spring is when the life force energy of the planet, at least in the northern hemisphere, our spring here, is when the energies are most aligned for you to start something new. But what winter is, and New Year's, and connecting with where we want to go is about getting quiet and still so that we can allow what we know deep inside of us to come up to the surface, right? That we can create space so that we're not making resolutions with our mind, right? That we're allowing the resolution to come from our gut, because it's the gut. We have 3 neural centers. We have a head brain, a heart brain, and a gut brain, right? And so the gut brain is where the notions and the ideas bubble up from the pelvic bowl up through the inspiration of the diaphragm and the heart chakra, up into the mind. And from the mind, we're able to create, right? The mind plans the implementation of the idea. It doesn't come up with them. It shouldn't. Not the best place to come up with them. We want them to come from here, And so we'll work today with a little bit of a Kriya for new beginnings. It's a really lovely Kriya. We just did this with Guru Singh the other day. It was the first time I ever did it. And I loved it. I was like, oh, this is great. It's perfect. And so for new beginnings, we want to clean everything out, right? And so this Kriya, we're going to work with a lot of breath of fire. Is anyone new to breath of fire, does not know what breath of fire is? Yeah, great. And does anyone have a little bit of experience with breath of fire but doesn't feel super comfortable with it? Great. Yeah. So breath of fire is a pumping of the navel point as you exhale, right? And so as I exhale through my nose, my belly, my navel point, about 2 inches below my belly button, pulls up and in. And as I inhale, it expands out. That should make sense because you should expand when you breathe in and you should shrink in when you breathe out. But a lot of the times we're actually paradoxically breathing, which means we're clenching in our bellies and then the air expands up here. And so it can actually feel a lot wonkier than you'd think it would feel. You're like, you can start to kind of go backwards. And so when you're newer to breath of fire, do it slower. Rhythm's more important than speed or intensity, right? So, and get a handle on it. And as you get more comfortable with it, you can go into what we would refer to as the breath of fire and its speed, which is, and what we're doing is we're stoking the fire of the solar plexus, right? We're generating heat in the solar plexus. We're going to stoke that fire. You could talk about that all day long, but your solar plexus is your furnace. It digests food, right? But it, more importantly, it digests the circumstances of your life. So if you don't have a hot fire, you're not going to be able to handle what life throws at you. So we work to get the fire nice and hot. So work with breath of fire. If it feels weird or wonky, just slow it down, take your time. If you're on your moon cycle or you're pregnant, we suggest doing just long, deep breaths as opposed to breath of fire. But that's up to you. Whatever feels good in your body, do what you can. But it's usually best to go with long, deep breaths. And let's get into the Kriya. So we'll come off our cushion if you're on one. We'll come flat on the ground in what we call easy pose. Any cross-legged posture that feels good for you, half lotus, any of these switches, any of these that feel good. Your hands will come onto the thighs and or the knees, and we're going to take a forward circle. That'll be your inhale, and as we come across the back, that's going to be the exhale. So full 360-degree movement. The front of the body, the inhale, the back of the body, the exhale. The invitation is for the eyes to close, to soften the forehead and the eyes, and to slightly draw the eyes up to the brow line. Call that a third eye drishti. Now, as with all of the exercises in the class tonight, it's your body, right? And so coming into this movement in a way that feels good for you. How does your body want to move? We're waking up to the hips, we're waking up to the pelvic bowl. So as we're aware of these long, deep breaths and we're inviting the breath deep into the belly, we also start to become aware of the body and how the body wants to move. Make it your dance. Find your rhythm. If you lose a sensation of the breath, invite it to be deep again. That's okay. The mind will distract us. That's okay. The speed that you want to do this at is up to you. Some people like to go a little faster. Some people like to go a little slower. Different days, your body may want different things. The yogis believe that the purpose of our life sits in the pelvic bowl, and so we want to wake that area up. That's where the best resolutions will come from. That's where the wisdom of the immortal authority will bubble up from. Let's switch directions. Start to come the other way. And it'll always bring you back to an invitation to have just a slight smile on the mouth. Just slightly upturning the corners of the mouth. Your nervous system welcomes that mudra. That sign of joy, contentment, peace. And a nice deep breath now. We'll sit up tall to center. Fill the belly with air. Stretch up to the crown of the head. And we're going to lift Mula Bandha. That's a pelvic floor lift. It's a Kegel muscle pull. Same muscle that stops you from going shishi. Holding the breath, lifting upwards. And release. A few natural breaths. You'll bring your legs out in front of you. We're going to draw the right leg in. The right foot will be flat on the mat. And then I'm going to pull the toes of my left foot in towards me. So I'm just getting that good stretch to the life nerve, the sciatic nerve that runs through the lower part of the body. Now the hands are going to come up. And then I'm going to lean back. Right to kind of the edge of your comfort zone. You'll have to engage your core. You can come out of it now that you tried it, right? So, because we're going to be holding that for a bit and we're going to do breath of fire. So you want to get right to that edge where you have to engage your core. You want to engage your core consciously. Now when you engage your core, your navel point tightens, right? That's what your core is. And then we're going to do breath of fire, right? And so it's a little weird. And so if you're newer to these things, be really kind to yourself. Do what you can, feel good about that. Rhythm's much more important than speed or intensity, so do it at a place that you can find good rhythm with it. And then when you find good rhythm, speed it up. Make the intensity a little harder, maybe work with the speed a little bit. And if you're going to work with long, deep breaths, that's totally fine. Nice, long, deep breaths. Feel good? So we'll come back, hands up, lean back to the edge of your comfort zone, deep breath in, breath of fire. The invitation for the drishti, the eye gaze, is for the eyes to be closed and gently tilt up towards the brow line. But that's just an invitation, whatever feels good for you. Helps us to drop a little deeper into ourselves, into the practice. Now take a nice deep full breath all the way into the belly. Stretch up through the fingers and lift Mula Bandha, that pelvic floor lift again. Exhale, bring both feet in. A few natural breaths, a few moments to rest. And the invitation between exercises is to kind of close the eyes, take some long deep breaths, and just notice the sensations in the body. Kundalini Yoga, we're going to learn how to work directly with the energy body, with the pranic systems. And so it's really cool to see how you get life force gathers and dissipates between exercises. You can bring the left foot in now, the right leg will come out, toes will pull in towards you. Hands will go up, palms facing forward, leaning back. Deep breath into the belly, breath of fire. Invitation to have that little smile, invitation for the third eye drishti. Nice deep full breath in. Stretching up, lifting Mula Bandha. And release. Coming back to easy pose, a few natural breaths, any resting posture that might feel nice. And then we're going to come to rock pose. Rock pose is like a hero's pose. You also hear it called in traditional yoga, on our knees. If it's uncomfortable to be on your knees, you're welcome to put a cushion or a bolster up underneath you. It could be nice to have the bolster across the backs of your legs. Some people like that. Some people like it right there. Whatever feels nice for you. We'll be in rock pose, and very similar to what we just did. Hands will come up, palms will face forward, and then we'll lean back to the edge, to our edge, wherever that may be, engaging the core, deep full breath into the belly. Breath of fire. We're working with certain acupostures. We're working with alignment in the body, engagement of certain aspects of the body, and then breath. And what we're doing is lining up energy pathways, meridian pathways, and we're using breath of fire to clean those pathways out. If you're feeling a little bit too comfortable, maybe work on the posture, lean back a little bit further. Always do what you can and feel good about that. If your body says it needs to take a break, take the break. But if it's just the mind that doesn't want to do it, we try to move through that resistance. 10 more seconds. Nice deep full breath in. Stretch through the fingers, lift Mula Bandha. And release. We'll come into pranam, child's pose. Hands can be out in front or down behind you along your sides. Forehead to the mat if it can get there. And nice long deep breaths all the way into the belly. Let the energy equalize. You can draw your awareness to that third eye point as the forehead touches the mat, or you could also draw your awareness into the navel point, inviting it out of the mind, out of the thoughts, into the breath, into the body. We'll be here for about 20 more seconds. And on your next inhale, you can slowly come up. Lovely. How are we feeling? We're going to tune the body like the instruments of a guitar. As we work through each of these different exercises, we should feel a little shift in our frequency. So we're going to work with the diagonal imbalance. And diagonal imbalances are ways that we can trick our body into thinking it's chronically depleted and it sucks life force in through the chakra system, which is really lovely. You don't have to believe any of this, by the way. I'm a very skeptical person, highly skeptical. If you're highly skeptical, welcome. I say this because I've done it for a long time, and I believe it because of the effects it's had on my body and what I've learned to feel by doing it, right? And so I really encourage you to be your own scientist. Don't believe anything anyone tells you. But do things, right? Try them and see how the effect is for you, right? But yeah, so the diagonal imbalances are ways to trick the body into sucking a bunch of prana and builds up our pranic reserves. This is a great thing to do midday if you want another cup of coffee, but you don't want another cup of coffee. You know, these are the things to do, right? Because you can actually get your life force back up. Instead of just putting caffeine into your system, you can actually get your pranic reserves up. So we'll come into tabletop. Shoulders will be over hands, hips will be over knees. The back, the feet, you could be up on the tops of the feet or you can have the toes tucked, either one, whatever feels better for you. I'm going to draw my right leg up and my left hand is going to reach back and grab the top of my foot. You can go either side of the foot, whatever, or right over the top, whatever feels better for you. You kick through the foot and you get a little bit of turn sideways here. So you get this opening through the heart. Yeah, nice deep full breath in and breath of fire. Don't forget your little smile. Great smile, Ashley. The smile is not to pretend to be happy. It's actually to welcome whatever arises. "15 seconds. Deep breath in. Lift Mula Bandha, kick through the foot, lift through the crown. And release. Any resting posture as you take some nice breaths is fine. You might want to sway and tabletop. You might want to come into child's pose, whatever feels good for you. On the next inhale, we'll come back to tabletop. We'll switch sides. So for me, it's going to be my left foot, my right hand. I'm going to kick through that foot. Don't worry if this feels a little wonky for you. These are not always the easiest things to do. Our bodies are all going to be in different places. Nice deep full breath in. Breath of fire. If you work with these practices relatively frequently and you want some little extra instructions, a little engagement of Mula Bandha can be really nice right here. Also that third eye drishti, even pulling it up towards the crown. Nice deep full breath in. Kick in through the foot, lift Mula Bandha, stretch through the crown. And release. Again, a few moments to rest. Notice how you feel. Move into the sensations in your body. And we're going to work with a long, deep breath again. And we're going to push ourselves into down dog, triangle pose. I'm going to lift the right leg and try to find alignment there. Mine's just okay. Yours can just be okay too. If you got a good advanced yoga practice, it'll be better than me. Kicking through the soles of the feet, pulling in the toes of the right foot towards you so you get that stretch through the back of the leg, and long, deep, full breaths all the way in and out of the belly. Filling the lungs completely, emptying the lungs completely. You're doing such a good job. Let yourself know. Those inner critics can be hard at work sometimes, so it's really important that we meet them with a smile, we meet them with love and a few words of kindness to yourself. Deep inhale in. Kick through the foot. Little engagement of Mula Bandha. Exhale. Again, you can come back to child's pose. You can come to rock pose just for a few breaths. Purpose of this one is to move some of the life force that's gathering around the navel point, to move it into the upper chakras. So when you feel ready, we're going to come back into triangle pose on the other side now. Left leg will lift, whatever the opposite is from the last one you did. Long, deep, full breaths into the belly. Deep breath in. Exhale as you lower down. We'll come back into rock pose together. How's that feel? Get some energy moving. Hot as it gets for a winter day here. Maui. Anytime we're working with the hands, right? So the heart chakra is not the organ of the heart. The heart chakra, or any of the chakras, are energy centers that are made up of the glands and the organs and the nervous system that's in that particular area of the body. So the heart chakra is much more than just the organ of the heart. It's the pituitary gland, and it's the brachial nervous system makes up a large part of it. And so a lot of the time, whenever we're doing things with our hands in Kundalini Yoga, we're working in the heart area, in the heart chakra in particular. So we're going to have our hands in little tiny fists, thumbs out. They're going to face forward. And we're going to be doing these backwards about, 4 to 6 inch circles here with breath of fire. So you'll find a good rhythm with it. Yeah. And so we'll take a nice deep breath in together. Exhale. Deep breath in. Backward circles, breath of fire. Find your rhythm with this. How does your body want to do it? What speed? How does it want the movement to feel? Remember, we're cleaning, so think kind of like wax on, wax off. Yeah, we're kind of like scrubbing through the heart center with the movement, with the breath. So doing it with some intentionality in the breath, intentionality in the movement. These are the part of the Kriya where my breath of fire may get a little bit more intense, a little bit more powerful. Bringing the hands up to 60 degrees now, same movement. Whenever you think your arms are going to fall off in Kundalini Yoga, you know you're doing the right thing. So if you start to feel like your arms are going to fall off, that means you're getting somewhere. My first Kundalini Yoga class, I was very cranky. I was like, I can't believe I paid for this. This is lame, and my arms are going to fall off. They made us do this stuff for a long time back then. It's be like 7 minutes of this. But what we're doing is you're cleaning your heart. You're filling in your psycho-emotional places. You're filling in those senses of loneliness. You're filling in the gaps. The gaps in the heart. Hands straight up now, same movement, same breath. There's a deep wisdom that humans discovered thousands, if not tens of thousands of years ago, and that's when we volunteer for suffering, we find ease. And when we seek comfort, we find dis-ease. These kind of practices are little mini voluntary suffering. I promise you it'll feel good when we get to Shavasana. Nice deep full breath in. Bring the hands together. Venus grip. Index finger will point up. Sepana Mudra. Lift up. Long deep breaths into the belly. Shoulders will relax down, but you lift up through that finger. Eyes will close and they're going to come to that third eyebrow line point, or they can come up to the crown. Long, deep, full breaths into the belly. Lift your energy up. Lift that life force from the lower chakras to the upper chakras. Elevate yourself. And don't forget your smile. You're doing such a good job. Deep breath in. Good solid lift on Mula Bandha. Good pelvic floor lift. Stretch through that finger. Eyes can roll up. And release. Lower in the hands. Great job. Palms can come up on the knees. Just a few moments of meditation. Notice how you feel. Where do you feel the life force or the tingling in your body? How's it moving? Maybe that smile feels a little bit easier. Or you could feel cranky. Kundalini Yoga kind of pokes and prods us. It gets all that psycho-emotional energy out of the body, and so sometimes I feel really cranky in class as I let go of something I might be holding on to. All that's okay. All of it's welcome. We'll open the eyes. We're going to work with our frog poses. These are great. Everybody loves frogs. So frogs, you're up on the balls of the feet. You're on the balls of the feet. It's kind of like crow, but your feet are in, right? So you're on the balls of the feet and your heels are touching each other. Your fingertips come down on the mat like little tents, right? So they're up. The key to frog is to use your fingers to push yourself up, not just your legs, right? So this is actually the exhale. I'm looking forward, and as I inhale, I push up, straighten the legs, but you want to float the heels about an inch off the mat so they don't fully touch. Now, for some of us, our legs won't go completely straight, right? So if you get any sharpness in the back of your knee or your lower back, keep some bend in the knee. Yeah, so it'll look like this. This is the exhale, this is the inhale. So we'll do 26 together. That'll be lovely. I always lose count, so if you get to 26 and you want to quit, I had to do 108 of these every day when I was doing my training. Yeah, so 26 now feels really easy, but 26 used to make me feel like I was going to die. So if you feel like you're going to die, do what you can, feel good about that. But push yourself. If it's just your mind, keep going, right? Develop resiliency. We're developing resiliency. We're learning how to get stronger in our minds. So do what you can, feel good about it. All right, ready? Exhale, inhale, push up. Exhale, down. Halfway. This is so good for our cerebral spinal fluid, really good for the cranial sacral rhythm. Really good for the nervous system. Just a few more, you're doing great. One more, deep breath in. Exhale into a nice forward fold, maybe grabbing opposite elbows, swaying back and forth. Some long, deep breaths. Great job. You know, we're not just getting stronger in the body, we're getting stronger in our emotional body, stronger in our mental body. Incredibly helpful. We'll roll up one vertebrae at a time as you inhale. Working with the Bij Mudra on this next one. I'm out of breath. Not doing cardio. Your right hand will come into a fist. Not super tight. Kind of, relax, but there. And what happens is the left hand comes around it, and there's this really lovely little hole right there for your left thumb to nestle into. It's lovely. So, we're going to drop into what we call horse stance, which is a squat. Toes come out at 45-degree angle. You bend the knees, you drop down. You're going to bring that mudra right in front of the solar plexus, right at the gut brain. We're going to activate the 3 neural centers now. So, deep full breath in, and breath of fire. Our lower chakra is about rooting. This is our rooting system. So rooting yourself down into the earth. Your squat can be as low or as high as you want it to be. If you want a little extra on a little extra force, you'd go drop a little lower. If you want a little less, you come up a little higher. Move the mudra to the heart. Activate that heart center. The heart center is like the trunk of the tree. It connects the lower chakras to the upper chakras. It's very strong, but it's also very flexible. Can bend through those kona storms. Don't forget the smile. Now moving the mudra up to the third eye, the forehead. It could turn sideways. Mine always turns sideways here. It just feels a little bit better. Continue the breath of fire. The third eye is our lens of perception. It's how we see the world. You see, you don't experience reality in the form reality takes. You experience reality through the lenses of perception created by your belief systems, your stories, your experiences, your genetics. And we want to make sure that we're cleaning that lens of perception. Otherwise, it's like a dirty pair of sunglasses. It's not going to do us very good. We want to polish that lens of the third eye. A few more moments. You're doing such a good job. Deep full breath in. Good lift on Mula Bandha, stretching up, eyes up. Exhale, come to Tadasana, mountain pose. Feet at hips distance, palm facing forward. Some nice long deep full breaths. Notice how you feel. Hopefully you feel a little cleaner as we come towards the end of the Kriya. As I inhale, I'm going to bring a nice big, bring my arms up, nice big stretch, opening up nice and wide. Exhale, I sweep the hands forward and then down and back, painting the aura. Inhaling, lifting. Exhaling, coming down. Some people like to do this really slow. Some people like to do it really fast, really sweeping through the aura quickly. I'll let you decide what you want to do. Oh, nice deep full breath in. Stretch up, get nice and big. Exhale, come down to seat. How are we feeling? Scrubbed out the energy body. Scrubbed out the nervous system. Let's come into Shavasana. So you're welcome to bring your head towards the front of the room for Shavasana because we're going to work with the gongs for a little while. So they work a little bit better if your head comes to the front, but that's not a requirement. If you'd like to take Shavasana in a seated posture, in a meditative posture, you're welcome to do that as well. And I encourage you to set yourself up so you can be nice and comfy, so you can receive the benefits of the practice. Let the Kriya sink into the cellular structure. Couple nice deep cleansing breaths, offering permission for all the muscles in the body to let go, to soften. Slowly beginning to bring the awareness back into the body. Feeling the breath in the body. Feeling the weight of the body on the floor. If you'd like to invite in some gentle movements, maybe wiggling the fingers or the toes, rolling the wrists and the ankles. Welcome to invite in any gentle stretches that might feel good for you, but take your time to return. No need to rush. And over the next minute or two, we'll gently bring ourselves back to a seated posture. We have plenty of time, so any little positions along the way or stretches along the way that feel good for you, feel free to take them. And just as we opened up our sacred space, we'll close it down as well. And we're going to use the mantra Sat Nam to do that. It's a long Sat and a short Nam. Means truth is my identity, or the infinite is what I truly am. And so we'll rub the palms together again. Coming back to Anjali Mudra at the heart. Nice deep full breath into the belly. Nice full exhale as we prepare for the mantra Sat Nam. We'll do it just one time together. Deep full breath in. Sat